Hey there, explorers. Have you ever walked outside at night and felt like something was watching you from the shadows? Like maybe something ancient and powerful was hiding just out of sight? Well, imagine that feeling multiplied by 1,000. Because today, we're diving into one of the most mysterious corners of our planet, the world of Africa's mythical beasts. You might be thinking, wait, isn't Africa full of real animals like lions and elephants? And yes, it definitely is. But what if I told you that long ago, people believed in creatures even more wild and strange than those? Creatures with glowing eyes, voices that echoed through mountains, and powers beyond imagination. So, are these stories just made-up myths? Or could there be some truth behind them? Stick around, because today we're uncovering the legends, the mysteries, and the possible truths behind Africa's most fascinating mythical beasts. Oh, and before we begin this wild journey, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss another adventure like this one. Let's go. Africa is a land rich in culture, history, and stories passed down for generations. Long before books and smartphones, people used storytelling to teach lessons, share warnings, and explain the unknown. And guess what? Some of the wildest stories came from deep in the heart of African folklore. Tales about creatures that were said to walk among humans, hide in rivers, or live in the skies. These weren't just bedtime stories. They were believed to have power, meaning, and sometimes even warnings. In many villages, kids were taught to respect the forest, the rivers, and the winds, not just because of nature, but because of the beings that were said to live within them. So now, let's take a step back in time and explore one of the most famous creatures from West Africa. Have you ever heard of a creature that looks like a mix between a dragon and a dinosaur? Let me introduce you to the Mokele-Mbembe, a legendary beast said to live deep in the Congo basin. According to local legends, this creature has a long neck, a serpentine head, and a body like a hippopotamus. It's supposed to be so big and powerful that it can capsize boats and scare off entire hunting parties. Some say it's a surviving dinosaur, a living relic from millions of years ago. Others believe it's a spirit guardian of the river, punishing anyone who dares to harm the environment. Scientists have searched for it, adventurers have hunted for clues, but no solid proof has ever been found. But just because we haven't seen it doesn't mean it's not out there, right? Speaking of mysterious guardians, let's move to East Africa and meet a creature that rules the skies. Now picture this. You're standing in the open plains of Kenya when suddenly the sky darkens. The wind picks up, thunder rolls in, and a deafening cry echoes from above. What do you see? If you're a member of the Maasai tribe, you might believe. You've just seen the Thunderbird, a colossal eagle-like creature said to control the weather and protect sacred lands. This isn't just any ordinary bird. The Thunderbird is described as being strong enough to carry off large animals, with wings that create gusts so powerful they knock people off their feet. Some believe it only appears during times of great change or danger, warning people to prepare or stay away. Could this be a myth born from storms and fear? Or could it be based on an ancient species we've forgotten? Either way, the legend is powerful, and it gets even more intense when we travel south to Zimbabwe. Ever had someone play a prank on you that scared the daylights out of you? Now imagine if that prankster was a supernatural creature that lived in the water, loved playing tricks, and could become invisible whenever it wanted. Welcome to the world of the Tokoloshe, a mischievous spirit from Zulu mythology. The Tokoloshe is often described as a short, hairy creature with big teeth and glowing eyes. It's said to come out at night to scare people, pull pranks, or even cause trouble for those who disrespect nature or elders. Parents would tell kids scary stories about the Tokoloshe to keep them from wandering too far after dark. Kind of. Like how some people use the boogeyman today. But here's the twist. Some people still believe the Tokoloshe is real and sightings continue to pop up even today. Is it just a trick of the mind? Or could there really be something lurking beneath the surface? Hold on tight, because next we're heading to the deserts of North Africa, where things get even stranger. Get ready for something seriously bizarre. Imagine warriors charging into battle, but they don't have heads. Instead, their mouths, noses, and eyes are all on their chests. That's exactly what ancient Roman travelers claimed to have seen in parts of North Africa. The Blemmies, a race of headless men. These creatures were described in old maps and manuscripts as fierce fighters who lived in the desert and roamed the edges of civilization. While modern science tells us such beings couldn't exist, the legend persisted for centuries, showing how deeply these stories were rooted in the minds of people. Could this have been a misunderstanding of real tribes? Maybe exaggerated descriptions of masked warriors or soldiers wearing helmets that covered their faces? Or was it just a terrifying tale meant to warn travelers about the dangers of the unknown? No matter what, the Blemmies remind us that fear and mystery have always gone hand in hand. Now let's return to West Africa, where another terrifying creature once haunted the forest. Dragons aren't just from fairy tales. Some believe they live in real places, like the rivers of West Africa. Say hello to the Ninki-Nanka, a legendary dragon-like creature said to dwell in the swamps and rivers of the Gambia. It's described as having a snake-like body covered in colorful scales, a humpbacked frame, and horns on its head. According to local belief, if you see the Ninki-Nanka, you'll either gain great wisdom or die shortly afterward. Hunters and fishermen tell stories of hearing its eerie cry at night and seeing its reflection in the moonlight. Even today, some claim to have spotted it, though no photos or videos have ever confirmed its existence. But again, just because it hasn't been proven doesn't mean it's not real. What makes creatures like the Ninki-Nanka so special is how much they mean to the people who tell their stories. And speaking of meaning, let's talk about how these myths helped shape African cultures. Myths and legends aren't just spooky stories. They serve important roles in African communities. They teach values, warn people about dangers, and help preserve cultural identity. For example, the story of the Tokoloshe reminds people to behave well and respect others. The tale of the Thunderbird teaches respect for nature and the forces of the sky. Many of these creatures are tied to the land, reminding people to care for their environment and honor ancestral traditions. Even today, these stories are passed down through songs, dances, and oral histories. They connect generations and give young people a sense of belonging and purpose. And while some may think of these myths as fantasy, they carry deep truths about life, community, and the natural world. Which brings us to an important question. Could some of these creatures actually be real? Let's dive into the possibility that these legends may have roots in real animals we know today. Believe it or not, some of Africa's mythical creatures might be inspired by real animals. Take the Mokele-Mbembe, for instance. Its description sounds a lot like a sauropod dinosaur. But since those went extinct millions of years ago, some researchers suggest it could be a misunderstood elephant or hippo. The Thunderbird might actually be based on the massive African crowned eagle, known for attacking large prey like monkeys and antelopes. Even the Tokoloshe could be linked to the hippopotamus, which is known for its aggressive behavior and ability to attack from underwater. Sometimes, storytellers exaggerate features or combine traits of different animals to create something bigger, scarier, or more magical. So the next time you hear a wild story, ask yourself, could there be a real animal hiding behind the myth? Now let's take a look at how Western explorers interpreted these stories and how that changed the way we see them today. Utidil. When European explorers first traveled to Africa, they brought with them a mix of curiosity, wonder, and bias. They heard stories about amazing creatures like the Mokele-Mbembe and Ninki-Nanka, and wrote them down, sometimes changing details, to make them sound more exotic or dangerous. Unfortunately, not all of these stories were respected. Some were dismissed as primitive beliefs, while others were twisted into entertainment for foreign audiences. Over time, these myths became part of global folklore, influencing movies, books, and even cryptozoology, the study of hidden animals. But what many people forget is that these stories belong to the people who created them. They're not just strange tales, they're pieces of history, culture, and identity. So as we explore these myths, it's important to remember their origins and the people who kept them alive. Now let's fast forward to today and see how these legends live on in modern Africa. You might be surprised to learn that many people in Africa still believe in these mythical creatures. Some say they've seen them with their own eyes. Others grew up hearing the stories and feel connected to them emotionally. In rural areas, parents still use these legends to teach kids about safety and respect for nature. In cities, artists, writers, and filmmakers draw inspiration from these myths to create new stories for a modern audience. There are even festivals and rituals held in honor of these creatures, keeping the legends alive for future generations, whether or not the creatures themselves are real. The impact they've had on culture and identity is undeniable, and that's what makes these myths so powerful. They connect people to their past and inspire them to dream. But let's get back to the big question. Could any of these creatures still exist? Let's explore what scientists and researchers have to say. When it comes to mythical beasts, scientists have mixed opinions. Some say there's no evidence to support the existence of creatures like the Mokele-Mbembe or Ninki-Nanka. Others remain open-minded, pointing out that new species are discovered all the time, especially in remote areas. Cryptozoologists, scientists who search for hidden or undocumented animals, have spent years exploring jungles, rivers, and caves in search of clues. They've interviewed locals, studied footprints, and even taken blurry photos. But so far, nothing conclusive has been found. Still, the fact that these stories persist across generations suggests that something must have sparked them. Maybe it's a real animal that's been misunderstood, or maybe it's a symbol of something deeper, like humanity's desire to believe in the unknown. Either way, the search continues, and who knows what might be discovered next. Now let's wrap up our journey by looking at why these myths matter more than ever today. In a world full of technology and information, myths might seem outdated, but they're actually more important than ever. These stories help us understand the world in ways facts alone can't. They spark imagination, encourage curiosity, and teach us to appreciate different cultures. They remind us that not everything has to be proven to be meaningful. And for many young people, learning about these myths can be empowering, connecting them to their heritage and giving them a sense of pride. So whether you believe in these creatures or not, one thing is clear. Their stories deserve to be heard, shared, and celebrated. And now that you've joined me on this adventure, I want to thank you for coming along. We started with the idea that Africa is full of incredible myths, and we proved it. We met the Mokele-Mbembe, a river monster from the Congo. We flew with the Thunderbird, protector of the skies. We played hide-and-seek with the Tokoloshe, the trickster of the waters. We faced the terrifying Blemmies, headless warriors of the desert. And we marveled at the Ninki-Nanka, the dragon of the Gambia. Along the way, we learned how myths teach lessons, how real animals might have inspired these stories, and how these legends live on today. We also explored how science views these creatures and why the mystery remains unsolved. And most importantly, we saw how these stories connect us to the past and inspire us for the future. But guess what? There's still more to explore. Now that you've heard these amazing stories, it's your turn to become an explorer. Next time you're out in nature, whether it's a park, a forest, or even your backyard, keep your eyes peeled. Who knows what you might discover? Maybe you'll spot something unusual. Maybe you'll hear a strange sound. Or maybe you'll start imagining your own mythical creature. Don't forget to write down your thoughts, draw pictures, or even record a video telling your own legend. You never know. Your story might inspire someone else to believe in the magic of the unknown. And remember, every explorer needs a crew. So share this video with your friends and family and invite them to join the adventure too. Oh, and don't forget to like and comment below. Tell me which mythical beast was your favorite and what you'd name your own creature if you saw one. If you enjoyed this journey through Africa's mythical beasts, you'll love what's coming next. I've got more adventures planned, from exploring ancient ruins to discovering hidden treasures and meeting real-life heroes from across the continent. So make sure to hit that subscribe button, ring the bell, and follow me on social media for updates, sneak peeks, and fun facts you won't find anywhere else. This is just the beginning, and trust me, the best is yet to come. Stay curious, stay brave, and keep believing in the magic of discovery. Because who knows what's waiting out there in the shadows? Sometimes the greatest adventures aren't about finding answers. They're about asking questions, and that's what makes myths so special. They invite us to wonder, to dream, and to explore. Africa's mythical beasts remind us that the world is full of mystery, and that some secrets are meant to stay hidden, sparking our imagination forever. So whether you believe in dragons, spirits, or invisible tricksters, one thing is true. You're now part of a long line of explorers, thinkers, and storytellers who dared to ask, what if? And that's something truly magical. Thank you for joining me on this journey. I hope it inspires you to keep exploring, keep learning, and keep dreaming. Until next time, stay wild, stay curious, and keep believing in the impossible. All right, explorers. That's all for today, but this isn't the end. It's just the beginning of a lifelong adventure. So grab your backpack, your notebook, and your sense of wonder, and go explore the world around you. Whether it's in the pages of a book, the stories of your elders, or the wild places waiting to be discovered, there's always something new to learn. Remember, legends are born from curiosity, and you've got plenty of that. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Keep searching, keep wondering, and above all, keep adventuring.